Now, I think my first question is for Professor Dr. Trevor Parvitt. Yeah. Now, this is an interesting interview that he did. Donald Trump did with the London Times. Yeah, I just want to quote what he said in that interview. He said, Brexit was going to end up being a great thing because people wanted to reclaim their identity from the European Union. Other countries would leave as well, and it would be hard to keep the EU from falling apart under the pressure of immigration. The EU was basically a vehicle for Germany. That's why I thought the UK was so smart in getting out. Now, let's understand his relationship with Europe, and also with the UK. Professor Parfitt, yes.
Just as a preamble, really, to answering your question, can I just say that actually an initial British reaction to the news about Donald Trump's election was one of relief, because this is the first time since June that people have not been looking at us and pointing and saying, what were you thinking voting that way? Now the attention's all on America. Basically then, the thing about Trump's relationship with Europe is it has displayed a quality that we seem to see a lot of in President Trump, or President-to-be Trump, about 24 hours from now, and that is bellicosity. He seems to be bellicose on just about every occasion. He seems to be aggressive. He's very aggressive about the European Union. Now, there is some history behind this in that in terms of trade, the European Union and the United States have long been rivals. They've long been rivals, and when you look at negotiations within the World Trade Organization, traditionally they have divided up between the United States and the European Union, jockeying for the advantage against one another. But also that sense of rivalry has been moderated in the past by a consciousness that actually the European Union is in many respects to America's advantage. It's very convenient for a major exporter like America to be dealing with a unified big market than a lot of small separated markets, all with their own rules and their own bureaucracies to negotiate, and also with one currency. Trump does not seem to see it that way. One thing that's actually been observed about President Trump's transition team is that the first question that they've asked when contacting their European counterparts is, who's next? Who after Britain? Which is perhaps not the most tactful of questions. One thing is that the American ambassador to the European Union has resigned, and rather as the British ambassador to the European Union did when he resigned, his comments were very critical of the administration. They were very critical of Trump, and saying that this put into danger Trump's relationship with the European Union. And there is very little doubt that actually there's some hostility. Trump is talking up some kind of hostility with the European Union. And so, in a way, that doesn't altogether bode well. Now, it should be said that the European Union is itself in some crisis at the moment. There are going to be a number of elections coming in Europe in the next year or so, and in all of them there are significant figures competing for power that are themselves anti-European. If Marine Le Pen were to come out the winner in the election in France in April, that again would be seen as an enormous setback to the European Union. And even if it didn't raise the possibility of France leaving the EU, it would certainly spark a major renegotiation and probably a trimming back of EU powers. So the EU is actually going through some degree of crisis in itself at the moment, which may be partly what motivates Trump in his suspicious attitudes towards the European Union. But is this the right response? Is it the right response to talk up the opposition to the European Union, or should they be bolstering the European Union? As shown by the figures that you just quoted, I mean, these are the lowest approval figures that any president has come into power with in America, which shows that not only are we wondering what to expect, the Americans themselves have major doubts about what they're expecting. And so there's a lot of division in America, an enormous amount of division in America. And one wonders, Trump is an enigmatic figure, and one is left to wonder how far he means what he says. Will he actually deliver on some of these bellicose statements? Because if he's being bellicose towards the European Union, wait until you hear what he's saying about China.